نعم. باب فضل صلاة الجماعة ووجوبها. The chapter of the virtue of congregational prayer and its obligation. The expression fadlu means istihbab. Do you understand? It means what? Istihbab, which is mustahab. Do you understand? This is why somebody might look at this heading, he will say, there is problem. Because fadlu means istihbab, and there is difference between istihbab and wujub. Do you understand the concept? Is there no difference? Anything that is wajib, can it be mustahab? It's not possible. Anything that is mustahab cannot be wajib. Do you understand? So mentioning fadlu here, if it is considered to be mustahab, then there is clash. Because it will now be the chapter of the what? The sunnatic, the sunnatic fact of congregational prayer and its obligatory fact. You know there will be clash. That's why the scholar said the word fadlu here means what? Sawabul jama'ah. Do you understand? The chapter on the reward and the virtues of congregational prayer wa wujubiha, and it was obligation. This expression indicates that the Sheikh Al-Allama is of the opinion. I'm talking about Abdul Wa'id Kena Al-Maqdisi. فهمنا هذا؟ عبد الغني ibn Abdul Wa'id Al-Maqdisi is of the opinion that congregational prayer is what? Is wajib. That's why I say wa wujubiha. Wajib upon who? Upon the men. So from the title, you already know the stance of the word of the Sheikh regarding what? Salatul Jama'ah. Because the scholars actually differ regarding Salatul Jama'ah into 5 views. Some of the scholars say Salatul Jama'ah is a condition for the validity of prayer. That means if you did not pray in Jama'ah, you don't have prayer. Do you understand? As a man, if you did not pray in Jama'ah, you don't have what? You don't have prayer. They said the reason is because Jama'ah is wajib. And if wajib is intentionally neglected, the act becomes what? Invalid. It's just like in Salah. You intentionally refuse to do what? The first tashahhud. That prayer will become completely what? Invalid. So they say Jama'ah is an obligation. In where? In Salah. So if you intentionally go to pray, you have removed what? An obligation. Which shows that what? That prayer is invalid. This is the view of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. And also Ibn Aqil, one of the great scholars in the mazhab of Imam Ahmad. This is also a riwayah from Imam Ahmad, that anyone who did not pray in congregation without any valid excuse, he does not have what? He does not have prayer. What he said now is from Hadith, that Jama'ah prayer, all the Hadiths, if you look at them very well, you see that Jama'ah prayer is wajib. So he's saying that if Jama'ah prayer is wajib, if you did not pray in Jama'ah, you have removed what? Something that is wajib. I hope you are getting it. And you know that if you intentionally remove something that is wajib from what it is wajib to, that thing becomes what? Invalid. Except if it is out of what? Forgetfulness. That's when you now start thinking of how to amend. Do you understand? Or some of the scholars said no, it's fardu ain. It's individual obligation. Which means if you did not observe prayer in Jama'ah, you have committed sin. But your prayer that you observe alone is what? Is valid. Are we together? Some of the scholars said no, it's sunnatu mu'akkada. It's sunnatu mada? Mu'akkada. If you did not observe it in Jama'ah, your prayer is valid, but you have also what? Committed sin. Why some say no, it's sunnah. If you like, observe it. Or if you like, what? Don't observe it. Some people say it's fardu kifaya. If some people have observed it, it's sufficient, for, the sin will be lifted from others who do not observe it. But what the scholars actually consider to be the most superior opinion is the mazhab or the view that says it is what? It is fardu ayn. Do you understand? Jama prayer is fardu madha, is fardu ayn. If you did not go to the mosque to observe prayer as a man, you are committed sin. Allah can punish you for that. But your prayer that you have observed alone is still what? Is valid. فإن هذا عن عبد الله ابن عمر. Why is it not Ibn Umari? Because it's mamnu minas. Any word that came ala wazni fu'al is mamnu minas sarf. Do you understand? Any word that you see in Arabic, whether it's a name or it's a sifa, as long as it is ala wazni fu'al, it's what? It's mamnu minas sarf. So that's why Umar here too is what? It's mamnu minas sarf. And Abdullah ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma, may Allah be pleased with both of them. And from Abdullah ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with both of them. Meaning both he, Abdullah, and his father Umar were companions. أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال, that the Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم said, صلاة الجماعة أفضل من صلاة الفجر. Congregational prayer is better than what? Individual prayer. That means individual prayer too is good. I hope you are getting it. But which one is better? That's why the scholar said from this hadith we have two central things that we are looking at. We have mufaddal and mufaddal alayh. I hope you are getting me. We have what is preferred and what it is preferred over. Which one is the mufaddal? Salatul Jama'ah. Which one is Salatul Jama'ah preferred over? Salatul Fajr. That is what? Al-mufaddal alayh. I hope you are getting it. So now, as a sensible person who is in his recent, which group will you want to be? Is it the group of Mufaddal or that of Mufaddal alayh? Will you want something to be preferred over you? Nobody will want anything to be preferred over you. And so you should be in the group of what is what? What is preferred? Which is Salatul Madha? Salatul Jama'ah. Are we together? Jama'ah, do we understand? So the ulama said this hadith indicates the validation or the validity, of individual prayer. And the fact again that congregational prayer is better than what? Individual prayer. فإن ب27 درجة with 27 what? Dhikr. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال, from Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Rasul صلى الله عليه وسلم said, صلاة الرجل في الجماعة, the prayer of a man in congregation, تضاعف على صلاته في بيته, is multiplied over his prayer in his house, وفي سوقه, and in his market, meaning his shop and his place of what? Business. 25 ضعفا, 25 times. Is there no class here? The other hadith said 27. This hadith said how much? How many? 25. There is class. Ibn Hajar in Fathul Bari mentioned almost 11 views of scholars regarding the meaning of this hadith. Ibn al-Mulaqqi mentioned almost 13. Ibn Rajab mentioned 3. Al-Imam al-Nawawi also mentioned what? Mentioned 3. But out of all these views, they give preference to 3. They said number 1 is that al-adad does not have mafhum. Number does not have what? Mafhum, confinement. I hope you are getting the concept. So for him to say 27 and 25, it doesn't mean anything. I hope you are getting it. Why? They said again that small number does not prevent what? Large number. Small number does not prevent what? Large number. And the third view is that It depends on the condition of what? Of the praying person. If he prays the way he ought to pray, he will have that 27. If there are lapses in his prayer, he has what? 25. But Al-Uthaymeen said we should not stress ourselves with all this analysis. We should just say it's ziyada, it's addition. And we know that the rahmah of Allah is one. So Allah can decide to double whatever he likes. For Ibn Hadha. Now, Al-Muhim, this particular hadith is still telling us the fact that Salatul Jama'ah is what? Is more rewarding than what? Salatul Fajr. وَذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ, the Prophet, they asked him that what's the reason? He said, وَذَلِكَ أَنَّهُ إِذَا تَوَضَّأَ, that is because if a person performs ablution فَأَحْسَنَ الْوُضُوء, and perfect his ablution, ثُمَّ خَرَجَ إِلَى الْمَسْجِدِ, and then go to where? This shows that Salatul Jama'ah is observing where? You cannot be at home and say you are observing Salatul Jama'ah. It's called that. They said, what if people gather themselves in their house and observe Jama'ah prayer? Some say they have the Jama'ah prayer. Some say, la, they don't have. As they mean is more inclined to the fact that they don't have that Jama'ah prayer. That the Jama'ah prayer is supposed to be said in where? In the masjid. La yukhrijuhu illa salah. Nothing makes him to leave his house other than what? Prayer. This shows that ikhlas is what is required. فهمنا هذا؟ Is masjid there is, yeah, of course. That one, and the masjid is at home. You have still left the house, right? Yes, now. So the masjid, but you gather yourself maybe in your parlor or your frontage and you say, let's organize Jama'ah. But if it is mosque, there's no problem. Now, لم يخطو خطوة, he will not take any step إلا رفعت له بها درجة, except that by it his rank will be what? Increased for him. وحط عنه بها خطيئة, and by it his sins will be what? Wiped off. The scholar said it's a minor what? Minor sins. فإذا صلى, if you observe that prayer, you can see here. This is telling us that anytime you enter the masjid is not pray, it's a place where they pray. It's not a place where you pray. You go and play. That's why he did not say if he entered the masjid you should pray. He said فَإِذَا صَلَّى, if he prays, لَمْ تَزَلِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ, the angels will not stop to salli alayhi, say salat on him. He's going to translate the meaning of the salat. مَادَامَ فِي مُصَلَّى, as long as he remains in his what? Position of what? Prayer. What's the meaning of position of prayer? Ibn Hajar said, as long as he remains in that place I was, he prays. I hope you are getting the concept. But some scholars say no, it's as long as he remains within what? Within the masjid. But just have to be on the safer side. It's better that you remain in that place that you pray. For him, Allahumma salli alayhi. The angels will say, Allahumma salli alayhi. Oh Allah, say salat upon him. Allahumma ghfir lahu. Oh Allah, forgive him. Allahumma arhamhu. Oh Allah, have mercy upon him. These prayers, will they be accepted? You can see what we are missing. The Prophet said, وَلَا يَزَالُ فِي صَلَاتٍ, he will never stop to be in prayer. In terms of what? Is it in terms of action or in terms of reward? In terms of reward. Because if we say in terms of action, he will not be able to say anything. That azkar that is doing, he will not be able to do it. Fahimna? وَلَا يَزَالُ فِي صَلَاتٍ. This is not my view. That's how scholars explain it. Do you understand? Al-Uthaymeen to be specific. وَلَا يَزَالُ فِي صَلَاتٍ, he will never stop to be in prayer in terms of what? Reward. مَنْ تَبَرَ الصَّلَاةِ, as long as he's waiting for what? Another prayer. Who do not understand this hadith? I think it's clear. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال, from Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, who said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, إن أثقل الصلاة على المنافقين. This expression, the heaviest prayer on the munafiqun. This expression indicates that all prayer they are heavy upon who? The munafiqun. But the heaviest one is the one that the Prophet wants to mention here, or is the one that the Prophet mentioned here. Salatul Mada and Isha or Salatul Fajr. Isha prayer and what? Because that time People will not be able to see them. You know they are doing their thing for what? For Riyah. May Allah protect us. The scholars then said, so if any of this prayer, if prayer is heavy upon you, or any prayer, if any prayer is heavy upon you, so they are afraid that you have some element of nifaq in you. May Allah forgive us and protect us. So وَلَوْ يَعْلَمُونَ مَا فِيهِمَا, if they actually know what is in both of them, Salatul Isha and Salatul Fajr, لَا تَوْهُمَا وَلَوْ حَبْوًا, they would have gone to observe them, even if it is by what? Crawling. وَلَكَدْ هَمَمْتُ أَنْ آمُرَ بِالصَّلَاةِ, I have intended to order for prayer, for tuqamu, to be established. ثُمَّ آمُرَ رَجُلًا, and then instructed a man, فَيُصَلِّيَ بِالنَّاسِ, to lead the people. ثُمَّ أَنْطَلِقْ مَعِي بِرِجَالٍ, and then go together with me, and then go together with some men, مَعَهُمْ حِزَمٌ, who will carry with them hizamun min afabin, yani bundles min afabin of firewood, ila qawmin, to a people la yashaduna salata, who do not come to observe what? Salah. فَوْحَرِّقَ عَلَيْهِمْ بُيُوتَهُمْ بِالنَّارِ, and set their houses ablaze while they are what? This expression alone is sufficient for scholars to say Salatul Jama'ah is what? It's wajib. Salatul Jama'ah is wajib. Because for what will make it, look at the way Allah described the Prophet. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. For the Prophet to have taken such decision, it shows that that thing is, of course, we know that he will not take such decision on something that is what? Mandu. He will not take such decision on something that is what? Fadila. That thing has to be something that is what? Wajib. I hope you understand. So it is part of the evidences the scholars use to establish that Salat, congregational prayer, is what? It's wajib. Inshallah, we are going to stop here.